You may not believe me at first, and that's okay. Skepticism is just a mind still rooted in the past. But if you open your heart and quiet the noise of limitation, you'll understand this isn't about luck, it's about frequency, energy, intention. I didn't just win the lottery once. I won it 8 times. And it all started with 3 words. Simple, powerful, repeated until they rewrote my reality. Most people believe change comes from action. That you must hustle, grind, strategize, manipulate the outside world until it bends to your will. That's the old way. That's the way of force, not flow. I discovered that reality shifts from the inside out, and if you want to receive something you've never had, you must become someone you've never been. These 3 words weren't magic. They were alignment. A vibration that synchronized my inner being with a new version of reality. I wasn't just affirming, I was embodying. I wasn't asking, I was becoming. Every morning I would close my eyes, breathe into the silence, and speak them with the kind of emotion that makes time stand still. That kind of feeling isn't ordinary. It's the language of creation. The first time I said them, I felt nothing. Just words. Hollow. Like echoing into an empty room. But I didn't stop. Because part of me knew, repetition reprograms. Not the surface level you, the deep self. The one that operates beyond thought, beyond personality, beyond history. That's where change happens. That's where these words began to take root. By the 3rd day, something subtle shifted. Not in the world, inside me. My body felt lighter, as if it had shed some invisible weight. My thoughts slowed down. The usual noise of doubt, fear, and disbelief grew quieter. I began to feel like the version of me who had already received what I desired. And that was the key. I wasn't chasing the future. I was remembering it. I was returning to it as if it had already happened. That's when energy begins to move. I started to visualize differently. Not from the perspective of hoping, but knowing. I saw myself holding the winning ticket, but I didn't see it from the outside, I felt it from within. My heart raced with gratitude, my body responded with goosebumps, and tears welled up in my eyes from the sheer certainty of the moment. It wasn't fantasy. It was frequency. I had tuned into it like a station that was always broadcasting, waiting for someone to match its signal. You see, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It reflects who you are. And when you become the vibration of abundance, you don't have to chase wealth, it finds you. I went about my days feeling as though the lottery had already been won. Not pretending. Not faking. Living it emotionally before it appeared physically. That is the science of transformation. And then it happened. The first win. Small but undeniable. Enough to challenge the old story in my mind. Enough to make me believe, truly believe, that this was working. I celebrated that win like it was the grand prize. Not out of greed, but out of resonance. Because that celebration amplified the signal. It told the universe, yes, this is my new state of being. Thank you. More, please. The next win came quicker. And the one after that, even faster. Until it became a rhythm. 8 times. 8 confirmations that reality isn't fixed. That it bends to the consciousness observing it. And those 3 words were my anchor, my access code to a different timeline. I kept my process simple. Every morning I'd sit in stillness. Not to get something, but to remember who I really am. I'd breathe. Slow. Deep. Until the mind no longer led and the heart opened. Then I'd speak the words. Slowly. Deliberately. Feeling them with my entire being. Not just repeating them mindlessly, but infusing them with life. I saw them as light, radiating out of me, connecting with a future that was already real. When doubt crept in, as it always does, I didn't fight it. I welcomed it. Because doubt is not the enemy. It's the signal that you're stepping outside of the known. I didn't let it stop me. I observed it, blessed it, and returned to the feeling of truth. The truth was, my reality was mine to create. People asked me if I had a secret strategy, if I studied numbers or patterns, if I hacked the system. And I told them the only system I hacked was my own belief system. I stopped identifying with the person who struggles. I stopped rehearsing stories of lack. I stopped complaining, doubting, comparing. Instead, I replaced every limitation with the feeling of limitless. I didn't need the world to change. I needed to change my state. I remember walking into the store before one of the biggest wins. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't hoping. I was calm, certain, like I was simply collecting what was already mine. I bought the ticket with a smile, thanked the clerk, and walked out with the sensation that something sacred had just occurred. I held that feeling all day. I nurtured it like a flame. That night, the numbers aligned. What most people don't understand is that the physical win is just the end result of an energetic alignment. It's not the ticket that changes your life. It's who you become in order to receive it. Those 3 words weren't about money. They were about identity. They were a declaration, a claim to a new frequency. One where abundance is natural, expected, and deserved. I didn't use these words just in meditation. I used them when I felt fear. When I saw my bank account drop. When things didn't go my way. I spoke them in the face of contradiction. And that's when they had the most power. Because true creation doesn't happen when things are easy. It happens when you stay faithful despite appearances. When you choose belief over evidence. As the winds came, I gave generously. Not because I was obligated, but because I had shifted from scarcity to overflow. I understood that money is energy. And when you circulate it with joy, it comes back multiplied. I wasn't afraid to spend. I wasn't afraid to give. Because I had become the source, not the seeker. Those 3 words taught me that. The real miracle, though, wasn't the money. It was the way my nervous system changed. The way my relationships deepened. The way my sleep became peaceful, my body healthier, my thoughts clearer. I became magnetic, not just to wealth, but to love, to opportunity, to synchronicity. Life started to flow in ways that made logic irrelevant. I'd think of someone and they'd call. I'd need something and it would appear. I wasn't chasing, I was attracting. Every time I repeated those words, I laid a new pathway in my brain. I trained my body to feel the future in the present. I rewrote the script of my life, one repetition at a time. And over time, those 3 words weren't just something I said, they became who I am. Even now, I continue the practice. Not because I need more, but because I love the feeling of alignment. Because it reminds me of the truth that we are creators, not victims. That we don't observe reality, we influence it. That every thought, every feeling, every word is a command to the field of infinite potential. You may ask, what are the 3 words? But before I tell you, ask yourself, are you ready to feel them, not just hear them? Are you ready to become the person who receives with grace and certainty? Because the words only work when you embody them. The 3 words are, it is done. Simple. Final. Complete. Not, it will be. Not, I hope so. Not, maybe someday. It is done. Say it with the energy of completion. With the emotional signature of success. With the knowing that time is an illusion and your future self already exists. Feel it in your cells, your breath, your bones. Let it echo through your being until there's no gap between your intention and its manifestation. That's how I won. Not just the lottery, but life. Over and over again. It is done became the anthem of my transformation. The code that unlocked doors I didn't even know existed. I used it to change my health, my relationships, my mind, my bank account. And every time it responded. Not because I'm special, but because I finally remembered who I really am. If you truly believe it is done, then you act differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with a confidence that can't be faked. The universe recognizes that frequency and matches it with events, people, opportunities, and outcomes that reflect your new vibration. It doesn't question your worth, it reflects your signal. I stopped seeking signs and started becoming one. I stopped begging for change and became the change. And those 3 words were the bridge between who I was and who I came here to be. Every person alive has access to the same power, the same field of infinite potential. But most are asleep to it, hypnotized by their past, addicted to their emotions, and stuck in cycles they don't even know they're repeating. The way out is within. The way forward is inward. And it starts with a choice, a decision to feel what you've never felt before, to think thoughts you've never dared to think, to speak words that shape worlds. So close your eyes. Breathe. Drop into your heart. And say it with me. It is done. Please share, like, comments, and subscribe.